Good day all. Welcome everyone to this session on foolproof migration to Oracle Autonomous Database using Migration Workbench. My name is Rajendra Patil and I am part of Enterprise Manager Product Management team. Today we will see common reasons for performing a database migration workbench tools overview, migration to Oracle Cloud and other cloud destinations. We will also see migration workbench small demo followed by question and answer. To begin with, let us look at common reasons for performing database migration. There are three reasons for database migration. Number one, you want to migrate to Oracle Cloud. Number two, you want to move to multi-tenant architecture. Number three, you are looking to re-platform your infrastructure. Let us look at your plans to migrate to Oracle Cloud. If you have decided to migrate your applications to Oracle Cloud, then recommendation is to migrate entire application and database stack together. With this approach, you can handle application and database dependencies, retain huge tuning effort you might have put in over a period of time to tune your systems and make it perform as per business need. Now, when you have decided to move to either autonomous database cloud service or Exadata cloud service, you need a tool that will help you to identify various database components, dependencies, and help you in migrating to Oracle Cloud. Second need is your intent to consolidate single instance databases to pluggable databases. You might have deployed multiple 11G and 12C standalone or RAG databases across your data center, and your organization want to see benefit of multi-tenant architecture such as consolidation or ops automation. To achieve this goal, you need a tool which will help you in migrating single instance to pluggable databases. Finally, if you have an option and plan to upgrading your infrastructure from legacy hardware to new generation systems on cloud or intending to consolidate your instances using engineered systems, you need a tool which will help you in migrating databases running on legacy hardware to new generation systems or cloud. Every system is critical for business, and business cannot operate without systems. Business continuity with minimum or no downtime and getting desired system performance of a destination systems are two business challenges during database migration projects. If IT team fail to handle one or two of these challenges, then there will be a business interruption to operate with expected speed and capacity. Understanding application and database dependencies are really challenging where legacy setups and multiple teams are involved. IT team will face challenges in simulating integrations, creating foolproof testing plan with real use cases, executing migration iterations in dev and test environment without any error with minimum downtime or no downtime, and getting migrated data validated from business are biggest challenges for IT teams during migration projects. Any gaps in testing, validation, or failing to do a successful repeated iterations will lead business interruption during production migration cycle. Migration Workbench is a part of Enterprise Manager System Management tool. Now let us see Migration Workbench in more detail. Migration Workbench provides accurate and simplified migration and consolidation approach by eliminating human errors and allowing DBAs to easily move your on-premise database to Oracle Cloud or multi-tenant architecture. Using Migration Workbench Launchpad, DBAs can see all migrations they have scheduled, migrations which are completed, migrations which are in progress, or migrations which need DBA attention. Using Launchpad, DBAs can do drill-down analysis of migration jobs, diagnose and track real-time status of any migrations. Migration Workbench improves the accuracy of migration by providing automatic comparison of before and after performance by which DBS can ensure system performance is intact compared to source and destination environment. Migration Workbench gives you a rich UI to diagnose each step during migration and get to a root of the issue to understand why migration is errored out or particular object did not migrate successfully. This way, DBS can easily address application complexities. DBS can schedule migration jobs, set up event handlers on jobs for a status change, set up automatic data collection to compare performance using out-of-the-box DevOps solution with EMCLI or REST APIs. This gives predictability and accuracy for migration operation. Reduction in operating cost, near zero downtime migration, assured zero data loss migrations, seamless on-premise or cloud migrations, maximum availability and cloud security compliant approach are differentiators of Migration Workbench. With Migration Workbench, you can migrate databases of 11G till 21C versions, single or rack instances to various destination databases such as on-premise Exadata, multitenant database, Oracle Cloud Autonomous Database, or Exadata Cloud Service, which are running on Linux, Oracle Solaris, AIX, or Windows operating system using data pump or TTS migration method. We also gave you flexibility to choose source and destination environment based on Migration Workbench support matrix shown here. The workflow shown here depicts end-to-end migration process. Dark green boxes indicates required steps and light green boxes are optional customization steps that you can carry out during database migration. Create new migration, schedule and submit migration. You can view migration details, analyze data transfer, compare before and after migration performance are mandatory steps. Optionally, you can customize pre and post migration steps as per business logic or analyze source database before migration to check for potential problematic content and other factors that could prevent a successful migration. Migration Workbench has three simple steps: plan, migrate, and analyze. In planning phase, Migration Workbench offers guided wizard for unified migration experience for all type of migrations. With this, you can do source database pre-checks for potential problematic content before migration, dependency analysis, and other factors that could prevent successful migration. You can do consolidation estimation. You can estimate size of destination database based on source database workload. In migrate phase, Enterprise Manager orchestration engines allow you to customize, schedule, pause, or resume migration process at any time. You can do drill down analysis of migration job, diagnose and track real-time status of all migrations. If there is any error during migration, you can give a flexibility to pause and resume migration after correcting issue. This will avoid restarting entire migration process. Optionally, you can customize pre and post migration steps as per business logic. You can leverage REST APIs to automate end-to-end migration and integrate with third-party orchestration tools. Analyze phase. In analyze phase, you can analyze database for desired performance. You will get insight into objects that needs attention and objects that have migrated successfully. You can do automatic performance analysis of source and destination workload after migration. Any deviation from previous baseline is highlighted in performance report. There are three simple steps that you will have to follow to migrate your database to new destination. Let us look at three migration steps in detail. First step here is to planning phase. In planning phase, Migration Workbench gives you a launchpad for managing migrations such as creating migrations, scheduling them, tracking migrations which are in progress, or migrations need DB actions. With the help of Launchpad, DBS can customize any migration, track migration progress in real time, have ability to act when migration which is in progress with actions like pause, resume, or cancel entire migration workflow. Using Launchpad, DBAs get a powerful tool to do a drill down analysis of an object and deep insight reasoning for failed objects. DBAs can do view analysis of before migration validation checks which are carried out, overall status of export and import activity, and any errors, warnings which are reported during export or import phase. Using Launchpad, DBAs can do comparison and performance analysis of source and destination workload. As part of planning phase, Migration Workbench also offers to carry out pre-migration analysis of a source database using pre-migration advisory tool called CPAT. With CPAT, you can do source database pre-checks for potential problematic content, dependency analysis, and other factors that could prevent a successful migration. As shown here, CPAT advisory reports offer severity-wise recommendation with fatal, blocker, warnings, past objects, which helps DBAs to take proactive actions at source database before starting migration to ensure migration will complete successfully. Migration Workbench provides a database migration with full database, table space, and schema-based migration method. Full database migration supports both data pump and TTS migration method. Schema migration uses data pump and table space migration uses TTS migration method. Data pump export database objects and import into new destination database or schemas. TTS based migration supports RMAN, transportable table space, and data pump based combined migration approach. Out of these three migration methods, full database and table space migration offers near zero downtime migration using TTS migration, and data pump migration offers migration with minimal downtime. Few critical parameters such as size of source database, database version, downtime permitted by business for production migration, source and destination platform, source and destination database character set, any hardware refresh or architectural changes involved in this migration will decide best migration method you should use using Migration Workbench. Here are few examples of best suit cloud migration methods which will suit your business requirement. For share or dedicated autonomous database migration, best option is to use data pump to migrate selected schemas or entire database. Migration Workbench support migration with new PDB creation or migration into existing PDB. While doing data export to cloud, Migration Workbench takes care of security measures by encrypting backup and transferring encrypted backup to OCI storage bucket. For Exadata Cloud Service, Exadata Cloud at Customer, you can adopt Migration Workbench TTS migration method, which will help in taking care of large databases, cross-platform migrations, near zero downtime cloud migrations. Here is example how you can achieve minimal downtime migration using RMAN TTS method. Traditionally, using data pump, schema or full migration, entire database or selective schema data is exported using data pump and loaded into destination database or schemas. TTS has two phases, create backup and complete migration. In create backup phase, entire content of source database is moved to destination database via full source backup, and in complete migration phase, incremental content of source database is moved to destination database via one or multiple incremental backups and loaded into destination database. Further, you have options to complete migration using TTS migration without incremental backups with single backup for a small database. After completing this phase, metadata of source database is moved to destination database by keeping source tablespace in read-only mode. Migration Workbench gives you 3 tool choices to migrate your database: UI, EMCLI, or out-of-the-box REST APIs. Migration Workbench gives you integration with tools like Ansible, Chef, Terraform. Migration Workbench helps you to create a copy of pre-filled JSON file to integrate with your third-party tools for orchestration or orchestration engine. Migration Workbench comprehensive EMCLI and REST API-based interfaces help you to build, run, and manage easily. Now, migration phase is completed and you entered into analyze phase where you can do step-by-step analysis of migration. Once final migration job gets over, you can do view analysis, which gives you a complete analysis of each phase of during the migration. You can view analysis of before migration validation checks which are carried out, overall status of export and import activity, and any errors or warnings which are reported during export or import phase. For any failed objects, you can get more insight and reasoning why migration failed for a specific object. Migration Workbench perform typical steps such as run SQL performance analyzer on source database, capture performance information, migrate database, run SQL performance analyzer on destination database, analyze the performance of pre and post migration activities. All these steps carried out automatically in Migration Workbench. DBS do not have to carry out any manual step during migration process. Based on historical or real-time transactional data, Migration Workbench analyze potential impact on application in comparison with following factors like elapsed time, CPU time, user IO time, buffer gets, physical IO, optimizer cost, IO interconnect bytes, etc. Workbench provides a report with net impact due to migration. For any rigorous SQL statements, SQL performance analyzer also provide relevant steps along with tuning recommendation. As a result, you can proactively take care of performance issues during production. Users get affected with such issues. Migration Workbench also support SQL performance analyzer report analysis automation using REST APIs. SQL Performance Analyzer SPA automatically collects SQL statements from database cache and create a set of SQL queries called SQL tuning sets, STS. Migration Workbench support two options to do performance comparison. First one is day-op based out-of-box solution. STS is built on the fly using AWR report. Normally, we choose 7 days of AWR report to build STS. Migration Workbench scan AWR report for top SQL statement for each day and build unique STS. This method is simple and can be used for dev test environments for performance comparison. Option 2, which is production performance comparison, where DBS will enable SQL performance analyzer to collect SQL statements from database cache on ongoing basis. This allows SQL performance analyzer to record each statement and related performance parameters. This method is accurate for production-based systems where there is a heavy workload involved. Migration Workbench allows user to select best STS created by this process. Based on an option, you can choose performance analysis report which are created. As discussed, there are three simple steps: plan, migrate, and analyze that you have to follow to migrate your database to new destination. Now let us see how plan, migrate, and analyze migration steps can apply to migrate on-premise databases to cloud. Migration Workbench support migration from on-premises to autonomous database. In this use case, we have selected on-premise non-container database and using data pump full database migration approach, migrating to Oracle Autonomous Database. Migration Workbench supports migration with new PDB creation or migration into existing PDB. While doing data export, Migration Workbench take care of backup encryption and transferring to OCI storage bucket. As part of migration planning phase, pre-migration analysis is carried out to discover potential problematic content, dependency analysis, and other factors that could prevent a successful migration. Finally, after migration, we can do automatic before and after migration performance comparison. Migration Workbench also supports migrating to cloud destination. Let us see some of these use cases. Migration Workbench supports on-premise to ExaData Cloud at customer or ExaData Cloud service, bare metal or VM-based cloud service on on-premise or on-premise to on-premise migrations. You can migrate single instance, rack instance, and pluggable databases using data pump or TTS migration methods using UI, EMCLI, and REST API based migrations. Migration Workbench support migration to multi-tenant architecture using data pump. Benefits of data pump migration method on ExaCC, ExaCS, OCI, DBCS platform is it supports schema or full database migration, support cross-platform migration, compatible with different character sets, recommended for small size databases. You can get post-migration validation and performance comparison report to validate no business impact due to performance issues. Migration Workbench support migration to multi-tenant architecture using TTS-based migration. Support database versions 11G and above on ExaCC, ExaCS, DBMS, and other on-premise platforms. Benefit of multi-tenant architecture, multi-tenant database migrations using TTS migration on ExaCC, ExaCS, DBS platform is it supports tablespace or full database migration, support cross-platform migration, compatible with different character sets, support near zero downtime migrations for 24/7 transactional systems, recommended for large size databases. You can get post-migration validation and performance comparison report to validate no business impact due to performance issues. To wrap, let us summarize benefit of Migration Workbench. Migration Workbench gives you unified end-to-end tool experience for all type of cloud or on-premise migrations. Carry out pre-checks of source database for migration suitability, offers drill down analysis during migration, provide automatic before and after workload performance comparison to ensure no performance bottlenecks. Seamless variety type of cloud or on-premise migrations using UI and DevOps based EMCLI and REST APIs solutions. Offers reduced operating cost, near zero downtime, and assured zero data loss migration using TTS solution. Let us see Migration Workbench demo using transportable tablespace migration method to migrate 12C container non-container database to 19C pluggable database. Good day all. Today, let us go through a demo of Database Migration Workbench using Enterprise Manager Cloud Control 13C Release 5. Let us log into Enterprise Manager. We can access Migration Workbench from Enterprise, Migration and Consolidation menu. This brings up Database Migration Launchpad, from where DBAs can see all migrations which are scheduled, completed, or which are in progress. Using Launchpad, DBAs can do drill down analysis of migration jobs, diagnose and track real-time status of all migrations. First step here is to create new migration activity using Launchpad. Give migration activity name, choose best migration method you want to opt for this migration. Migration Workbench provides full database, schema, and tablespace migration options. Full database and tablespace migration offers near zero downtime migration using transportable tablespace migration method. After selecting migration method, select source database. You can either create new pluggable database or use existing pluggable database as a destination database for migration. In this migration, we will use 12C non-container database and create new 19C pluggable database to migrate 12C database. 19C container database is already present at destination. Provide OS and DB credentials. Select migration method as a transportable tablespace. Provide source and destination working directories and destination storage directories. Choose tablespace to be migrated and select migration phase for this migration. In transportable tablespace migration, there are two migration phases: create backup and complete migration. In create backup phase, source database full backup is taken and applied to destination database without affecting source database availability. In complete migration phase, source database one or multiple incremental backups are taken and applied to destination database. By default, 7 days SQL tuning sets are used, or you can use existing SQL tuning sets to create performance comparison report for pre and post migration activity. You have options to add and use custom scripts which can be executed during pre or post migration phase. Here is summary of migration. We are going to migrate 12C non-container database to 19C pluggable database using transportable tablespace migration method. Before submitting migration job, by pressing validation button, do prerequisite check for validation to ensure all configurations are correct. Validation phase, carry out pre-check validation steps for source and destination logins, database status, disk spaces, and privileges. Using validation report, DBAs can take actions on failed validations before actual migration starts. Once we confirm everything looks good, we can submit migration job either immediately or schedule for some other time. Migration Workbench allows DBAs to create a copy of pre-filled JSON file that can be used to integrate with your choice of third-party tool for automation. Once migration job is successfully submitted, Migration Launchpad shows newly created migration job. DBAs can do migration analysis using view analysis option, which gives you step-by-step analysis of migration. Migration Workbench gives you UI to diagnose each step during migration and get to the root of the issue to understand why migration errored out or particular object did not migrate it. Migration Workbench allows to load 100% production source transactions to destination database to offer near zero downtime production migration. To do this, you can take additional incremental backups by using update backup option, by which we can reduce downtime during final complete migration phase. Complete migration option is to apply all pending source transactions to destination database. After this phase, metadata of source database is moved to destination database by keeping tablespace in read-only mode. Once final database migration job get over, you can do view analysis, which gives you complete analysis of all phases of migration. View analysis provide before migration validation checks which are carried out, overall status of export activity, any errors or warnings reported during export phase. Similarly, import phase view analysis gives error or warning reported during import phase. Compare performance option will give automatic performance analysis of source and destination workload after migration. This analysis include current database performance compared to source database performance, notify any deviation from previous baseline, and highlight it in performance report. With the performance comparison analysis report, DBAs get in-depth performance analysis, factor affecting performance, and best way to address performance issues. You can see 19C PDB is created, 12C data is migrated, and instance is up and running for users to use it. Once business confirm migrated data and system performance is acceptable, DBAs can mark migration successfully completed. In this demo, we have used UI to migrate 12C non-container database to 19C pluggable database, but end-to-end migration flow is available for REST APIs and EMCLI methods as well. If you are planning to migrate to any other cloud destination like ExaCC or ExaCS, migration workbench workflow is exactly same as which we have seen in this demo. This concludes database migration workflow short demo. Thanks for attending this session.